Hello everyone, I'm LRock617. Hope you all been having a great JANKuary so far. As I like to do with this game, I'm gonna go ahead and load up our menu here. A little bit important to show off one particular detail of how we're running this game. So I've run Batman Forever Arcade and a number of RGL events. Most notably, I think I've run it 3 times for the Coin-Op Classic, one of which was a bonus run. And it just recently came back into prominence because of AGDQ this past week, and that run was very good. I was very happy with it, and much similarly, I'm very happy to be running it for you all this week in JANKuary. We set the difficulty to easy because it's a skill set thing. Like, it actually is the hardest difficulty based on how the mechanics work, but it's also the fastest, and I do speedrun this game. Primary goal is a 1cc, hence the category, but I am going to be doing as many speed strats as the game will allow me to, but I'll be happier with like a 25 that's a 1cc than I would with a 23 that isn't, so go ahead and exit out of this. Menuing with this thing is finicky, let me tell you. Has some very, very unusual keyboard inputs. So, for those that have not seen this game before, it is based on the 1995 movie of the same name, this year being the 30th anniversary. This game came out a year later, originally in arcades, later for the PC, PlayStation, and Saturn. Get the nice name of the soundboard there. Of note, the arcade hardware is a Sega Titan video, which is effectively a Saturn, but it also has its own separate soundboard, so it's a massive pain to try to capture. Works fine in arcade cabinets for the most part, and this one had a pretty notorious dedicated cabinet of its own. But today we're on emulator, and we're gonna pop in our credit. So Batman's in this game. He's very difficult to play, very meh for the most part, whereas Robin's completely busted, so we're gonna choose him.
Robin.
And also because he's the only character I know how to play this game. I only know of one player who knows how to play Batman. Maybe they'll come out of hiding one day. Well, hang on. I have to reset. So, here's the thing. I've been playing this game on a different stick up until this week. And I actually just recently stole my previous stick, the same I used for AGDQ, and the buttons on this one are slightly different. So apologies for the mild interruption there.
Robin.
We'll get back into it. Got everything set correctly now, I hope. Yeah, kick button, very important. This actually is the same style of stick. It's a Mad Catz TE1 for the Xbox 360. But because it was designed for a different game, the button layout is different, particularly in terms of the triggers and what are the other shoulder buttons? Bumpers? There we go. Give me a second. So anyway, we leveled up to level 2. We blew up the screen. It was crazy. We're not gonna do a bunch of this stuff. I don't want that. I'm actually gonna try and not do any item pickups. This back call that I just picked up is random, and it's actually a really good item to have because of how strong it is. So I'm gonna try and see if I can maintain it. If I pick up another gadget, it overwrites the back call, so we don't want that. Nah, man, Robin was driving that. Oh, I picked up batteries by mistake. That's unfortunate. Oh well, hopefully I'll be able to maintain the next one. We got this enemy popping in. He dies to a dive kick. Got more enemies popping in. And now we get to the real meat of this game. We're gonna be doing a bunch of this. And y'all are probably gonna hear that a lot. Yeah, I didn't want to get hit by that. So every time we get a 40-hit combo in this game, we get whispered, and it's really funny. Big part of what lends the jank appeal of this game is just how absurd this whole experience is. Everything from the gameplay to the ASMR is just peak. So how combat works is Robin has this dive kick that is, I mean, it looks like a typical beat 'em up dive kick. You've probably seen the TMNT do it in their games. But with Robin, it's a little bit different. It's a combo starter. It gets to combo into our one special move, which is this flip kick we do here. And it cancels into itself. So we get to just combo that as much as we want, and it's really good. Summon the bats. First instance, a bat call there. Bat call is really, really strong. Easily the best gadget. It effectively kills every enemy on the screen, or damn near. Okay, I'm gonna set it correctly for this. Kill this guy because he dies in one hit. I didn't want to grapple there, but I'd rather not taking damage there. These clowns out. That'll move us on. Okay, stage 2. This is also fixed. Enemies are gonna shrink. We get to step on them and kill them. It's really funny. This, okay. Then we got bigger enemies. Don't want that. So now we activate Hollow Mode, which we picked up at the end of the last stage as our power-up of choice. It lets us duplicate ourselves into 5, which gives us obscene offensive capability. We now have the ability to do 5 dive kicks at once, because, you know, what's better than 1 dive kick is always going to be 5. The correct answer is not 2, and it's not 6, it's always 5. Yeah, I got kind of smothered there. So, if you ever see me do that monkey flip style throw where Robin just flips backwards, I promise you it's not intentional because that move is really bad. Reason being is because it puts us on the ground, and on the ground is not where we want to be in this game, because if we're on the ground, that means that enemies can lame us. We don't have good wake-up options unless we're good at basically just defense, like frame-perfect blocking, which is very difficult to do. Okay. Apologies for the flashing lights, but I was trying my best to get down to 2 there so get back up to 3. Game wasn't having it, so I just gotta move on. Very much trying to not take any deaths here. And that can be kind of hard given my current health total. Oh yeah, I gotta do this, don't I? Okay, I don't normally do back call this early, but I really want to make sure I can heal there. I think we have one good gadget selection here. Yeah, we got batarangs. Batarangs are good. I just don't want to go up there and actually get stun bomb. Stun bomb is the worst gadget by far. It doesn't do damage. It causes knockdown so it can create space, but that's just not good enough in this game for the most part. A little bit of health there. So when we level down and level back up, we get this attack that kills every non-boss enemy on screen, which is incredibly good. This should not be a big surprise. But it also heals us a random amount. Give me that, please. I got lamed. Yeah, that happens. They kept getting in my way for me to throw them, and I just didn't want to grab them because I was trying to grab this trinket. Okay, so with full meter, I'm just gonna go to town on them here. I definitely want to make sure I stop that guy. That yo-yo is a problem. From the bottom of the screen, he's hit me all the way at the top. It has an intense amount of vertical range. Please, you have too much health. I don't want to do that combo. That combo's not very good. Okay, so here I have Tassel. The tasseliest of all the tassels. Okay, so I can't go down to 2 here. Bit of bad luck there. So this stage is unfortunately not going to really give me much of an opportunity to try to get health back. We only have to fight 2 enemies at once. Sorry, 3 enemies at once. And that just doesn't lend itself to good resource farming. Like, I can drain meter, but I'm only going to be able to get back about as much as I spent, which is never going to be half a bar, and that's how much we would need to go from 2 to 3. Also, this giant crane kills us if it falls on us, so I'd just rather avoid that. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just clocking out the crane itself. It'll keep going until it's finished its whole cycle. And along the way, we'll just get cyclical spawns of enemies. Just take them out as they appear. No, okay, it was a little bit too close. Collected super batarangs the whole time. These gadgets are specific to the boss of this stage and one other stage, which will be appearing right now, this helicopter. How did you not get hit? Okay, so we're gonna fire all these super batarangs. Into the helicopter in the back. Decent 2-cycle fight there. Essentially, the only goal with that fight is we just want to take care of it as quickly as we can, because if we don't, it spawns enemies, and that just gives us too much to have to deal with. Ah, yes, the infinite gainers. Speaking of which, give me away that. Okay, yeah. I figured that was gonna be bad. Yeah, I knew things were gonna go bad. I started that stage with just too few resources. Very unfortunate there. And I'm getting a screen scroll, don't want that. Okay, so the death was unfortunate, but at the same time, this is a very difficult stage, and I actually do expect to take a death here most of the time. And that has nothing to do with my skill level. It's just a really difficult stage based on the space given, the enemy spawns you experience, the gadget spawns you get. There's very little in this stage that gives you a true advantage. And if you started with low health and low resources, the death is almost guaranteed. That said, even with that death, I am back to full resources and full health, so that's great. Go to the staircase. Yeah, they did a really good job with the voice usage from the film. Film might be too nice of a word, but I'm going with it. Ooh, got him in the drop-in. Catching that guy as he's coming down is tough. That was good. Can I get that one? So I got his. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Sometimes they get stuck in the doorway like that. Don't want it. Anyway. Start off immediately with hollow mode. Actually, I don't like my gadget choices here, but I did get indestructible, so that's good. I'm not just gonna do this willy-nilly. From this stage on, power-ups that we get are mostly random. Got a very good first choice there. Indestructible is exactly what it sounds like. It puts you in a state where you can't take damage or hit stun. Basically, enemies are gonna try and hit you, and they're just never gonna get to. Really strong thing to have. Get through this. Full batarangs there. And I don't really care about the bomb. Another very good pickup there. VR mode is amazing. Any enemy affected by VR mode, it turns into a one-shot. Got kind of unlucky with the enemy spawn there. Did get immediate indestructible though, that's really good. I'll take this bola. So now under our bosses. Here we have Steve-O and Feather, who have nothing to do with one another. And probably even less to do with Batman. Snag these, moving our way out. They get clipped very quickly. Okay, yeah. So another thing enemies in this game can do, which is really mean, is that they can, even after they take a death, they have the ability to just keep moving and hit you, even if they're quote-unquote dead. If they have no health, if they were mid-run while you comboed them to death, they get to finish their run, and their run has a hitbox. It's really degenerate, and it's one of the most dangerous things in this game from enemies. Okay, did I mention enemies in this game have random damage values? That's always fun. Just another way in which it's mean. Try to preserve meter here, and not great power-up luck there. You can definitely yield an indestructible for that good or evil, but I did not that time. Okay, I don't love that. That guy's gonna do a self-destruct sequence from off-screen, and that's scary. And I don't have gadgets, that's also not good. Yeah, I've got work to do. Okay. That was really scary. Until a gadget popped up, I didn't think I was going to survive that. Really needed that. Right, can we get in the pit? Yes, we can. Somehow there's a cube in here, too. I don't know who put that there, but it's definitely crowding up valuable space. Stop that. Go ahead and deploy backhaul, even though I don't need to level up. I'd rather just get rid of enemies. Cool! That guy was right there with a gun. I couldn't respond to that at all. Very unfortunate. So that's a second death. Also really unlucky. Alright, so 1 life left to the credit. I have deathless this game before, so we'll see if we can do it again. For the sugar and spice boss fight, they're actually not that difficult. I just need to make sure I can tag them and bag them. At level 2, that's not the easiest thing to do, because you just don't really have the ability to churn out good damage. Hello, Pale. Thank you for the raid. Let's see if I can play the rest of this game solid. Through the wall. Currently, one of my favorite memes of this game is Dick just punching through the wall like it's not even there. Nice cone shot. That guy got glitched out. Yeah, holo mode's not great here. I really would rather have VR mode. Those are the only 2 things that can happen there, but we got unlucky. It happens. We're still alive, though. Good meter gain, at least. Get me out of here. That master was chasing me. Okay, so we got 1 last bout of mini mode here. From here, I'm definitely gonna try and get down to 2, just to make sure I can be at 3. Should be pretty easy if I can just collect all these. There we go. On to the most neon of neon alleys. I just love how these stages are, like, designated. Like, they're not even in-game, it's just what I call them, but, I mean, I can't not call them what they are, you know? Music in this stage kind of rules, actually. Just solid percussion. Okay, so I think I got that back call. Yeah, I did. That's good. I don't want it yet, though. I'm actually gonna save it for right over here. I think that should be good enough. Okay. So this should kill every enemy here. I've still got the back call. The goal here is I don't want the batarangs. Okay, yeah. Couldn't dodge it. The reason I wanted the back call is the section of enemies happening here, like where I am right now, is one of the most difficult. And I'd rather have the best gadget I can. And batarangs are good, but back call is ridiculous. And I need a ridiculous gadget to beat a ridiculous set of enemies. Yeah, the guy with the gun, the grenades being small is not my favorite. That's actually a disadvantage for me. Yeah. Yeah, Mohawk with the strats. One of the only enemies that has a way to beat gadgets. He can deflect like actual projectile gadgets. Alright, I'm in trouble here. Got a lot to do. And I can't grab anything because I keep... yeah, this is not good. Yeah, 2 feathers when I've got no meter is really bad. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just got completely checkmated. There is nothing I can do. We'll just sign that under Robin's call. Not a 1cc this time, but I'll finish the game. Alright, so let's see. My deaths were on the hardest stage, a situation that I couldn't react to, and a situation where I got out-resourced. Yeah, it happens sometimes. That's not even a D-Rust thing, it's just that this game sometimes decides to be that way. I dropped a couple gadget inputs. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'll stop obsessing. I should just finish the game. A couple refights here. We got Mohawk and Tassel, ready to just eat feet. Take that, take that, take that. Eh, it's fine. Doesn't mean anything. Nice little derail there. Okay, so I tend to hollow mode here at the start of the Batcave because getting the spin around the Batmobile itself is really silly, but I couldn't get it input in time there. Enemies weren't being super cooperative. Actually, just gonna gadget my way out of this. See the random damage values? I just got hit for way too much for basically doing nothing. Okay, so I'm actually gonna hang on to this back haul. Back-to-back indestructible is good. Could have used that earlier, but here we are. Actually gonna try and get down to 2 here. Don't love that. Being 1 shy is not great. Also trying to not use back haul. Like, there was a very good reason why I'm trying to hang on to it. So there goes the car. Don't touch me. Masters are actually kind of a pain to deal with. They can dodge dive kick. And I really just don't have other good options against them, so I just kind of have to just do it and hope for the best. Okay, so a little bit of cooperation there was nice to have. Drop them down, then we can go back to Combo City if I can get a starter. That was weird. Okay, so onto the bridge. This is actually a fairly tough segment because the goal is I want to make sure I can keep a gadget for the next stage, because it does carry over. Meter doesn't matter too much. If I get down to 2, it's fine. I'll just go back to 3 when I need to. But if I can stay at 3, that's cool as well. Anyway, we'll go ahead and hollow mode right away. I'm in a spot where I could use some health, so we'll go ahead and try and get that. Good enough. So now in this case, I can just keep back call for later in the stage. What I like being able to do if I get this far with back call is just deploy it, let it just carry everything away. And didn't quite get what I wanted. Turn around. Okay, so once the screen scrolls, we get to just move on. This moves us into our boss segment, and it despawns every enemy that's still active. It just self-destructs them all, which is really nice. Anyway, here's our boss fight. Super Batarangs are back. We have to fight the giant Monarch Bat. Got kind of trolled there. Mid-screen Sonic Rings is probably the worst pattern you can get because you can't really space it well. Okay, actually got a block there. Nice. Blocking's really hard to do in this game. It's only punch plus kick, so you wonder why just pressing 2 buttons is difficult. Reason being is because you can't buffer a block. As in, if you're doing literally anything except standing perfectly still and press punch plus kick, you won't get a block. So like if you're getting up off the ground, you can't buffer a block. You have to do it on the first frame of getting up in order to have like the best defense possible. Imagine a fighting game that has that mechanic. Imagine like just not being able to block on wake up. You'd be dead in no time. That's why we don't use it. Okay, so I'm gonna kill these guys. This is the last stage. It has a really funny gimmick. It's just a single room and we spin around this platform that Riddler's revolving on. I'm gonna go ahead and deploy this. There's no boss enemies in sight. Yeah, it's messed up. Cool things about block, you can roll during block, and that's a key strat for Batman. And it would be for Robin if he didn't have busted offense. Like if Robin wasn't just pure glass cannon, he'd probably have to use that too. Third fight with Tassel. It's a meter. Of note, during practice for AGDQ last week, I actually discovered a really cool strat in this stage that can save a good amount of time and it looks really cool. Something like 10 to 12 seconds. But there's a significant downside in that it has a random chance of soft locking the game. So I couldn't do it. It only happened once in like 7 attempts, but is anything that's not 0, like you can't do that. You can't actually put that into your run if it has a random chance of just crashing the game on you and not being able to finish, especially for something like JANKuary, you know? It does add to the jank factor, but I'd still rather just, you know, finish the game. Finish them off. This is actually, to me, the hardest section of enemies. All the stick wielders. Get through to him. Okay, there we go. Refight with sugar and spice. We've got one more thing we gotta do for our last boss. We got another super batarang, which lets us throw it at Riddler's podium, and then we get this happen. So here we have our good boy Proof-Face, aka Harvey Dent, who would be really difficult, except he dies to the stuff we've been doing the whole game. Jump cancel out of that. I'll despawn him out of here. That'll be time. A 23 would be excellent in a marathon, but there's nothing I'm gonna be doing with that run since it wasn't a 1cc. Bad luck happens, right? Also, I love the fact that the first and third sentence in this this ending don't have punctuation. Also, boxes is misspelled, heroes is misspelled. Batman's wearing the bat bra. You know. This game has its this game has its stuff, right? So anyway, this game is certainly a feast. It's a feast for the eyes, it's a feast for the execution. It actually does have a lot going for it. It's technically bad in like a not well programmed type sense, but it also has tech to it, and the tech is really fun to do. So for me, it gets a pass. Anyway, I think this game is gonna get put to bed by me for a bit. Appreciate you all sticking around for it, and we've got Lyra up soon with, as they call it, Games of Childhood Regrets. Y'all stick around and be back soon.